Only 2 lights for this dramatic portrait is our topic today on Luminar Coffee Break. Let's see what we can accomplish in 15 minutes or less, starting now. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Now, today's episode is inspired because last week I was on my creativity tour where I went to Philadelphia, New Jersey, and then to New York City. And by the way, last week's episode was recorded because people were texting me while I was during my photo walk in New York City. They're saying, how could you be in New York City at the same time you're on coffee break? So I thought that was interesting. But I was inspired by it because my good friends at TNF Camera, Bart, in fact, let me get to it. I have it right here. And actually, you know what? I did not have his images on here. So let me go back. 10 minutes before I had to leave for the airport, we started talking about lighting in theory. And our philosophy is very simple. We teach, we don't tell. We show, we don't tell about it. So we whipped up a couple lights and we grabbed these portraits that were phenomenal. I got home and I realized, nope, I wasn't holding the camera correctly at all. So I wanted to do artistic stuff, and I enlisted the help with Mike Cabesi, the Hollywood photographer, and my beautiful goddaughter, Amanda, who is a Brazilian supermodel and coach on posing. So that's what I want to show you. And here we are right now. So these are the images. And yes, it's a little weird, me having my own images, and like everyone else, you don't like your portraits. These I actually like. So, but let me show you the good, the bad, and everything. But before I do want to get behind the scenes a little bit here. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff that we did. So here's the lighting setup, just so you can see it. That's my good buddy Bart. And I'm just going to do 2 shots. This was the front view. Then here's the back view. So we had 1 light off on a 45. And then the back light, he likes the rim. He likes rim light. So it's shining towards him. I kind of like it the opposite. I like shining it on the background. Either way, it's just a different way of doing it. I didn't realize, look at this, we can show video inside Luminar Neo. So there's my buddy Bart. And here it comes. And there's the background. There's the light. And there we go. All right. So with that being said, I did prepare a slideshow for you. And on this slideshow, let me pull it right up. Let's talk about this. All right. So these are the elements that make up a great dramatic portrait for this particular portrait itself. All right. Now, it could be used for almost any other portraits, but I did gear it towards this. All right. The first part is light, placed with intention. And I just showed you what we do with the lighting. If you look in the catch light in my eye, you can see off camera left. And now I did something different. I have my second light illuminate the background. So there's separation. Shadows. What you hide matters. Just lighting the entire scene, it doesn't build that dramatic, that mood. And that brings it to contrast. By shaping the light properly, the contrast is going to define the shape and the form, of the subject. Here's the part where I am going to embarrass myself and show you some really stupid expressions I did. And thank God my goddaughter said, well, I'll tell you more about that when I show you the expressions. The intensity should be with intent. There's a purpose for it. And then last but not least, the composition. Now, for the love of God, people keep saying, that's not how you hold the camera. No, of course it's not. This particular camera, but that was in sports mode. So I technically can do that. This image was inspired by Robin Williams, a shot that they did. This is for art, to be artistic. And then the 5, light, shadow, contrast, expression, and then composition. Here's the key. Dramatic portraits come from control. What you show, what you hide, and where you guide the eye. So that right there again is a way just to get the portrait looking good and sharp, and that's what we did there. All right, now let me get into the embarrassing part. Let me move some of this stuff off the screen. I can't believe I'm showing you guys these. All right, here we go. Now, first thing I like to do is I do take a photo, because you did see how light that was in a home studio, and then I also did one in Bart's studio. There's a lot of light, ambient light. You take a first shot. If it comes out black, then you know the ambient light is not going to contaminate the scene. So you shut your flashes off, take one shot, hope it's black. If it's not, up the shutter speed. The shutter speed controls the ambient light. Next, I take a shot because I wanted to see what the background's going to look like. And it looked good. Then notice the light's not placed properly. So these were the ones. Oh, this pains me to show you these. And this was cool. You know what I did? I used Luminar Neo mobile. I used my mobile app to tether my camera to my phone. So if you look, I have my phone there. I'm looking at myself to see if I'm properly framed. And here, before I get any props going, let's get the light situated. Yes, I use a light meter. I use a light meter because that's going to make sure it gives me security and insurance knowing, yes, this is where I want the light to be. I can give you the settings, but it's going to be different if you have the light to subject distance. It's going to be different if you have the power of your light. That's not your goal is this. The light in the front is going to be a little bit brighter than I had in the light behind me. How you accomplish that is up to you. That light meter let me do F8 in the front, F4 in the back, and I just liked those settings and I dialed it in. Then I used ISO to adjust if it was too bright or too dark. After I got into it, then I upped the ISO, brought it up or I brought it down. I didn't want to mess with the aperture and I didn't want to mess with my shutter because I had that set for what I'm doing. So here I am with my phone and just checking it out. And notice the wardrobe. And by the way, look at this. Wait, how come that's color and these are black and white? Well, watch this. When I double click on this image and it opens up, I photographed it in black and white. I did that so I can actually see what the camera sees. So in a moment, look what it did. It shifted it back because RAW does not keep the black and white. RAW is RAW. So any of your white balance and stuff like that, I'm sorry, in the camera, you decide, okay, I want this to be shot vivid. I want this to be shot with black and white. It only applies it to the JPEG, not to the RAW file. But that's okay, because I wanted to see what it would look like in black and white, because that was going to be the final outcome. I'd love to do that with waterfalls or in touchy situations where I want a lot of contrast. I'll put it in the view mode in the camera to black and white so I can see what we're doing. So here it is. Let me just use this image first. All right. So with this here, now I could come back to develop RAW. And I know, obviously, I'm photographing with a Nikon camera. This is what the camera showed me right here. All right. Now I could do that. And it looks pretty good. We'll give it a moment to render. And it's not bad. I prefer to convert it to a black and white in Luminar Neo because then I just have more control. All right. And a lot of times I'll come down here where it says color. And this is where if I didn't have a gray card, I'm going to set this. Look, there it is, 63, 63, 63. That's neutral gray. Look what it did. That right there is showing me what neutral gray would be. And then I'm going to shape the light. So Nikon gave me their version. I'm going to shape it. All right. So with that being said, oh, here's the expressions that Amanda worked with me on, and how am I gonna? I can't give you word for word what she said, but I will give you a brief. I had Mike Cabasi on one phone, or the phone call, Amanda on WhatsApp, and what she said to me was this. Where is it? She said, I'm going to be very frank with you, Godfather. Don't worry about the mouth, because I kept saying, well, Amanda, I just didn't know how to hold my mouth, so I kept doing this. That motion gave my lips a little bit, made my lips a little bit fuller. And she said, leave the mouth the way it is. But she did say, okay, ready? To create the entire expression of the photo, it starts on the inside, and that's true. It starts on the inside. You have to build your subject and give them direction. So in their mind, when they're closing their eyes, it starts from the inside, and then it comes out. And she said, this starts from the inside out. You're a magnificent photographer. Amazing, bad, beep, 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 beep. Where is that expression? Where is that Vanelli? I'm not seeing Vanelli in these photos. Where is my Godfather? How could you not be motivated? So I'm getting excited, and then that's what gave me these shots right here. That was the expression we landed on. And let me get to it right there. That was it. That was the expression I really liked. And I loved how they helped me with it. So I did create a preset. And I'm going to show you how I did the preset first. So with the preset itself, I knew I was going to apply this to a dozen images. And let me get to the preset. And with that, I started out real simple with exposure. In fact, let's do it right here while it's coming in. My system is lagging, so I apologize on that part. But here we go. So as soon as it comes in, but I'll just briefly show you once you get the technical side down. Like in this case here, I got the lighting set. I had the prop. Notice I changed my shirt. I originally had a gray shirt. I came back and brought black. And by doing that, it just set the mood for me. Once you have all that set, now you can just experiment with creativity. Now you can experiment with your expressions. You can experiment with slightly moving away from the light. You can experiment with different angles, whether your shoulders forward here or the shoulders forward here. Either way, once you're done with the technical side, then the creative side kicks in. So let me get over here. And I am noticing something. I do know what I just did here. I'm going to fix that in a moment. So let me get to the edit. And by the way, that's a great, right here. If you notice the white spot, I know what that is. Right in here. Whenever you create a preset, do not apply a mask. The mask comes with it. So I'm going to start in the very beginning. Just simple develop. And all I did was I hit auto because I wanted to see what it will give me. Then I tweaked it to my settings. Next, I converted it to black and white because we talked about orders of operation. If I do this now because I want the rest of the images to fall for the black and white and to adjust to black and white. If I were doing a landscape and I wanted it black and white, but I wanted to change the sky first, then apply the black and white. Face, this is where AI comes in. It found my face no matter what. Structure, same thing. It stayed away from me and brought it to the camera. Now here's where the masking issue is. Yep, see it? So what I did was this, and I shouldn't have. I wanted that camera. I wanted the camera to have more focus. Now I could have spent a really long time with the lighting, but you know what? Watch this. This is what I did, and that's a global change. Now let's just go into a local change. I'm just going to apply that onto the camera. Yes, I could have put a third light in, put a snoot up, captured it. But remember, I'm not always going to have this pose. So this is one of those times where you say, you know what? Post is going to make it easier for me to do this. And then I did the same thing with structure. And actually, this structure, I just copied the mask from there. So I'm going to have to reset it. And then apply it again. I'm going to go crazy so you can see it. Mask, brush, and I'm going to paint the effect right here only. There we have it. Look at the change on that. And that got a little crazy. So I'm going to erase it right about here on the edges. There we go. All right. And then we have it. Before and after. All right. So let me get back to that right here. Now, I showed you behind the scenes. Yes. So here's the behind the scenes. Well, what lighting kit did we come up with? Well, let me pop this in. And I am going to give you a link to it. So when you're doing this, and if you're getting into portrait photography, if you don't have any gear whatsoever, don't make the mistake I made. Don't go out and buy the most expensive. I bought Hensel lights. Hensel is like a Ferrari of the lighting industry. They're really expensive. They're German made. They're very powerful. I didn't need that as a beginner. I should have bought, with that one Hensel light, I could have bought 4 of these other lower price lights. And honestly, it would have been a better option in the beginning, because towards the end, I got really nervous when anyone borrowed those lights. If they broke them, the bulb alone was $500. So sometimes the best isn't always the best. At TNF, when I was up there, I did come up with a lighting kit for them, which includes everything. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, the stands, the sandbags, the triggers, whatever you need. And of course, they're including Luminar Neo into those. In fact, I do have it here, right here, right there. So there's the link to make it easier. If you're into lighting, you could start with a bare bulb. Just go out. My father did that with this most amazing photo of my mother with a bare bulb from Sears. And he even told me how he lit the shot. Light is great. You move on to stuff like this when you push yourself past your limits. Cell phone photography is phenomenal, but you can't take to photograph a sporting event. Then you moved up the level. Same thing with your lighting gear. So I helped them come up with 1, 2, and 3 lights, and then I built up some videos for them to help them along the way. But start simple. Start with maybe product photography. Maybe, in fact, Bart's wife is into needle stitching, or needle pointing, whatever it is needle. They're phenomenal. You could do something like that, put it on a white box, and practice your lighting, how to light something like that, or even a figurine. Doesn't matter what it is. Then when you feel comfortable, then ask friends, family, or even yourself, and you do the lighting. All right? So I hope that helped you. And let me get back to here for you. So the five steps that we talked about, again, right here, take a screenshot of them. The next time you do anything with the lighting, think of those first, and then you can apply it. All right? So guys, I hope that was helpful. I love being able to combine both. Now, what was really cool was, like I said, I'm heading out the door for the airport. And over the weekend, we had a major problem at the airports. I was at my gate in 13 minutes. So as I'm leaving, it was an hour drive to the airport. Bart and Mike asked me about lighting. So we quickly put up lights, put that shoot together. In a matter of 10 minutes, he sent me those images. While I was in the car using Luminar Mobile, I edited them, sent them back to him in a few minutes. They thought I had my laptop in the car. Nope. And what's even best about that, when I got home, that cross-device platform, when I got home, All the edits were sitting right there for me on Luminar Neo when I logged in, made those adjustments, and you saw the images, the final image itself. So that is really cool, something to look forward to. All right? Now, if you're here, please stick around for the Ask Me Anything segment. For everyone else, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next coffee break.